Forget what you thought you knew about the PS5's life cycle. 2026 is rapidly shaping up to be the console's absolute apex, the year where technical promises finally become jaw-dropping reality. We're talking about games so ambitious, they are actively pushing the hardware to its absolute limit, demanding your attention and every penny of your full-price investment. So how do you navigate this incoming flood of AAA masterpieces and identify the true essential system sellers? We dove deep into the future lineup to uncover the titles that offer extreme value and relentless, high-quality content. Get ready for the 2026 lineup that looks suspiciously good. These are the games that will define the rest of this generation. Bungie returning to the Marathon universe is a power move, but the real question is, can a new extraction shooter truly carve out a lasting space on the PS5? It's not just a comeback, it's an evolution shedding the original single-player narrative for a high-stakes PvP experience focused entirely on that nerve-wracking extraction loop. The initial trailers highlight that signature Bungie weapon feel, snappy, impactful, and perfectly tuned for control, which is non-negotiable in this genre. And here's where it gets interesting. The lore is so dense and rich that even if you're laser-focused on the gear and the grind, the world itself pulls you in, adding a layer of atmosphere that most competitors simply lack. The value proposition of Marathon hinges on its long-term economy and competitive depth. You know that moment when you find that perfect piece of gear and the adrenaline spikes because you must extract it safely? This game is built entirely around that feeling, giving every successful mission a sense of profound accomplishment. Expect tight gunplay, distinct scavengers with unique abilities, and maps that are not just arenas but layered, dangerous narratives unfolding around you. If they nail the seasonal content cadence, this could be the definitive time sink for team-based combat fans, providing hundreds of hours of tension and reward. Ultimately, this is one to watch if you crave a game where every decision, from your loadout to your extraction path, is a matter of digital life and death. Bungie is aiming for a slick, visually distinct world of mercenary action, blending high-tech armor with grungy space derelicts. It's an investment in a potential live service giant. If the foundation is as solid as Bungie's track record suggests, Marathon isn't just a purchase, it's a new, demanding hobby that promises to constantly evolve and challenge your skills in profound ways. Can Square Enix deliver the emotionally resonant, narratively complex, and visually stunning sequel the fans have been begging for? Kingdom Hearts 4 is a massive gamble, tasked with bridging the gap between the confusing past and a promising future, all while weaving beloved Disney and Pixar worlds into its unique action RPG framework. We've seen glimpses of a much more grounded reality, dubbed Quadratum, contrasting sharply with the whimsy of the Disney realms. This juxtaposition is the game's secret weapon, promising a story that deals with higher stakes while retaining that signature, heartfelt Kingdom Hearts charm that we've come to expect. In terms of gameplay, the combat is what truly justifies the price tag. It's an evolution of the slick, flow-state action of Kingdom Hearts 3, featuring dynamic movement, environmental attacks, and an expanded list of magical and Keyblade transformations. It's a combat system that rewards both mastery and style, ensuring that even standard encounters feel like a flashy, high-budget spectacle. The sheer volume of content, from exploring massive new Disney worlds, each a beautiful playground with its own mechanics, to the deep RPG systems and customization, guarantees a massive playtime. You'll be playing this one for the story, but staying for the addictive, fast-paced fighting. The true value here lies in the nostalgia mixed with cutting-edge presentation. Seeing classic Disney locales rendered with PS5 fidelity is a treat, but it's the original narrative, the fate of Sora, Riku, and Kairi, that acts as the anchor. Kingdom Hearts 4 is more than just a crossover. It's an ambitious emotional journey that speaks directly to the longtime fan while attempting to streamline its notoriously dense lore for newcomers. If you want a fantasy epic that blends cartoon magic with high-stakes JRPG action, prepare to lose yourself in this colossal adventure. The next numbered title in the Resident Evil saga, Requiem needs to do more than just deliver another spooky mansion. It needs to innovate while honoring the series' survival horror legacy. The title itself suggests a finality or a solemn conclusion to a major arc, which immediately raises the stakes. We are expecting a masterful blend of the first-person intensity from the modern games and the resource management nightmare that defines classic survival horror. The core loop of a Resident Evil game is about making impossible choices, and if Requiem leans into that inventory pressure and scarcity of ammo, it's a recipe for a terrifyingly good time. The real innovation, and the reason this game is a must-buy, will be its utilization of the PS5's hardware to ramp up the dread. Imagine the DualSense controllers perfectly conveying the tension of a slowly opening door or the slight resistance of a rusty bolt action. Graphics aside, that subtle tactile feedback is what truly sells the atmosphere in a horror title. If the enemies are designed to be truly unpredictable, not just bullet sponges, and the environments are claustrophobic mazes with a constant sense of surveillance, the replayability for thrill seekers will be immense. Resident Evil Requiem is an investment in pure high-quality, high-tension horror. It's the kind of game you play in the dark with headphones on, a true showpiece for atmosphere. It's not just a quick horror fix, it's a calculated, polished experience designed to maximize panic and strategic thought. For fans of the genre, the return to a potentially more contained, dread-filled environment after the expansive settings of recent entries is exactly what's needed to deliver an intense and utterly unforgettable single-player experience. Open-world games need a serious differentiator these days, and Crimson Desert looks ready to deliver one of the most stunningly detailed worlds we have ever seen, blending high fantasy with a visceral, action-focused combat system. It's not just a massive map, it's a world teeming with physics and life, featuring everything from intricate puzzles to large-scale dynamic faction warfare. The shift from a strict MMORPG to an open-world action-adventure with strong multiplayer elements is a huge sign that Pearl Abyss is aiming for a narrative-driven epic first, which is exactly what gives it that high-value proposition. The standout feature is undoubtedly the combat. Forget the stiff tab-targeting systems of old, this looks more like a Devil May Cry or Monster Hunter blend, with highly reactive movement, weighty impacts, and deep combo potential. The ability to climb, stealth, and dynamically interact with the world mid-fight transforms every encounter from a simple exchange of damage into a thrilling, cinematic duel. A game this graphically ambitious, with an emphasis on fluid, skill-based action, inherently justifies a full-price purchase. It's a massive technical flex and a showcase for the PS5's capabilities. Ultimately, Crimson Desert promises to be a time sink of epic proportions. Between the personal narrative of the main character, the massive co-op and competitive features, and the sheer joy of exploring such a dense, beautiful, and reactive world, the amount of content here is staggering. It's for the player who wants a deep, rich fantasy world to truly live in. If the narrative hooks are as strong as the gameplay looks, this will be the open-world standard setter for years, giving you hundreds of hours of exploration and combat mastery. The next installment in the Dark Pictures anthology, Directive 8020, takes the series' branching narrative horror to the unforgiving isolation of deep space, immediately changing the formula's tone. It's moving away from gothic castles and seaside towns to a place where the biggest terror is not a ghost, but the breakdown of a system millions of miles from help. The genius of the Dark Pictures model is the high replayability. Every decision can lead to drastically different outcomes, and the incentive to go back and try to save that one character, or get them killed in an even more gruesome way, is a powerful draw. The value comes from the narrative density and the pure cinematic quality. This isn't just a point and click, it's an interactive horror movie with top-tier motion capture and voice acting. Set aboard the Cassiopeia mission, the claustrophobia of a space station mixed with a slow-burn paranoia is the perfect setting for these games. You know that moment when you pause the game and think, wait, was that a shadow or just my imagination? This game specializes in that kind of subtle, mind-bending dread, making the experience intense from the first jump scare to the final confrontation. For fans of narrative horror and choice-driven games, Directive 8020 is a self-contained, highly polished gem that feels completely worth the price. It's a guaranteed night of popcorn, friends, and moral dilemmas, whether you're playing in the local co-op movie night mode or alone. The move to a hard sci-fi setting is a bold, exciting choice, promising a psychological horror experience that leverages the chilling vastness of space. It's an interactive story that you'll want to revisit multiple times to unlock every shocking twist and tragic ending. In a world saturated with superhero content, can a fighting game truly stand out and offer lasting value beyond fan service? Marvel Tokon, Fighting Souls promises to be the definitive Marvel fighter, moving beyond simple brawling to incorporate deep, character-specific soul systems and dynamic stage interactions. The key differentiator here is the focus on team composition and tag mechanics that genuinely influence the flow of combat, not just offering a quick switch. Imagine pairing a heavy hitter like Hulk with the intricate zoning of Doctor Strange. The strategic depth, if executed well, promises a fighting experience that rewards both reflexes and careful planning. The value of any fighting game lies in its robust roster and competitive viability, and Tokon is clearly aiming high. With a massive, diverse cast pulled from every corner of the Marvel Universe, from established icons to deep-cut favorites, the sheer volume of matchups guarantees high replayability. Furthermore, the visuals are expected to be a high-fidelity spectacle, delivering those hyper-kinetic comic book panel moments with PS5 level polish. This isn't just another fighter, it's an ambitious project to capture the essence of Marvel's power fantasies through high-level competitive mechanics, offering hundreds of hours to master your favorite team. The light-hearted yet fiercely competitive nature is the core hook. Mastering a character's unique Souls mechanic to unlock devastating supers or critical counters gives every fighter a unique rhythm and required playstyle. For fighting game enthusiasts, this is the investment. It's the kind of game that fosters deep community engagement and continuous self-improvement. If you're looking for a fighting game with cinematic flair and a metagame that evolves constantly, Tokon promises a rewarding and demanding experience that will stick around long after launch. Team Ninja's Nioh series carved a niche for itself by blending the punishing difficulty of Souls-likes with the hyper-fast, combo-driven action of titles like Ninja Gaiden. So what does Nioh 3 need to do to justify its existence and full price tag? It must refine and deepen its core combat loop, the stance switching, the key pulse mechanic, and the yokai abilities into an even more addictive flow state. The joy of Nioh isn't just winning, it's winning stylishly while constantly managing your stamina and position, and the sequel is expected to push that mechanical intensity to its limit. The true longevity of the Nioh games lies in their loot systems and end-game content. Forget simple weapon upgrades, we're talking about diving into challenging high-difficulty missions to perfect that specific build that synergizes your chosen weapon with your guardian spirit. This game is a value powerhouse for the action RPG crowd, offering hundreds of hours for players obsessed with optimization and min-maxing their gear. Plus, the rich, late Sengoku period setting, steeped in mythology and demons, provides a visually distinct and compelling backdrop for all that glorious, brutal combat. Nioh 3 is an investment in pure, refined mechanical mastery. It's for the player who found the combat in other action games a little too simple and craves a system with extreme depth. Expect new weapon types, expanded magic and ninjutsu systems, and incredibly creative boss encounters that force you to exploit every facet of the complex combat engine. If you measure value in challenging hours spent perfecting your sword dance against monstrous yokai, this sequel is poised to be an unmissable and demanding experience. In an age where seamless open-world design is expected, how does a new IP like Beast of Reincarnation capture the imagination and your wallet? The game's premise, a world where characters can fluidly transform into powerful, unique beasts mid-combat, is the key selling point. This isn't just a simple power-up, it fundamentally changes the rhythm of gameplay, blending the precision of human combat with the raw, area-controlling power of massive monsters. It's a game promising two distinctly different, yet interwoven, playstyles within a single experience, which is a significant value add. The core loop seems centered on exploration and discovery, where finding and mastering new beast forms unlocks new traversal and combat capabilities in the world. This creates a powerful sense of progression that goes beyond just leveling up. You're constantly gaining new fundamental ways to interact with the environment and overcome obstacles. Visually, the contrast between the detailed human characters and the grotesque, majestic beasts, all rendered with PS5 fidelity, provides a constant visual spectacle that is highly engaging. And here's where it gets interesting. The developers are hinting at a deep connection between the narrative and the beast forms, making the story progression itself integral to your growing power. Beast of Reincarnation is for the player who craves innovation in their action games. It's a bet on a fresh concept that promises a unique blend of combat and exploration, preventing the open-world fatigue that plagues many titles. If they nail the fluid transition between forms and the variety of the creature designs, this could easily deliver a playthrough that feels continuously fresh and surprising. It's an investment in a high-fantasy, high-stakes action title that seeks to genuinely change how you approach every single encounter. You already know the name, but why does GTA 6 represent one of the biggest value propositions in the history of gaming? It's not just the massive, hyper-detailed world of Leonida and Vice City, it's the sheer density of meticulously simulated life within it. Rockstar Games doesn't just build environments, they create ecosystems complete with NPCs that have routines, a dynamic social media simulator, and a world that reacts to player chaos in ways few other games attempt. The value is rooted in the longevity of the single-player campaign and the inevitable monstrous scale of GTA Online. The brilliance of GTA lies in its freedom, which translates directly into endless replayability. You can spend hundreds of hours just driving around, discovering random events, engaging with the world's satirical narrative, or simply chasing a 5-star wanted level. The seamless transition between the dual protagonists, Lucia and Jason, is set to provide two distinct perspectives on the criminal underworld, effectively doubling the narrative content and emotional investment of the main story. This is a game built for maximum time commitment, designed to be played and replayed for years on end. Ultimately, buying GTA sees an investment in a decade of entertainment. The single-player story will be an epic of modern narrative design, and the online component will provide a persistent, evolving, and financially rewarding world for the developer and hopefully for the player. It's the technical standard bearer, the cultural phenomenon, and the definitive open-world experience for the PS5 generation. If you want the biggest, most ambitious, and most content-rich game on the market, look no further than this titan. In a crowded field of Marvel games, Marvel 1943 delivers a unique value proposition by focusing on a narrative-driven, historically grounded, yet high-action experience set during World War II. Developed using the stunning Unreal Engine 5, the true cost justification here is the unparalleled visual fidelity. This isn't just a comic book aesthetic, it's aiming for photorealism in its characters, Captain America, Black Panther, and their unique supporting cast, making every cutscene and battle feel like a cinematic masterpiece. The value is found in the combination of a high-stakes, linear narrative with true next-gen graphical polish. The gameplay is expected to focus on a balanced mix of Cap's tactical shield combat and Black Panther's fluid, close-quarters stealth and acrobatics. This dual protagonist structure promises continuous variety, ensuring that the combat encounters never grow stale. You might spend one chapter infiltrating a Hydra base as T'Challa, leveraging shadow and precision, and the next leading an assault as the Sentinel of Liberty, blocking bullets with your iconic shield. This continuous shift in tone and required skill set keeps the pace dynamic and the player constantly engaged. Marvel 1943 is for the player who loves a focused, story-heavy adventure with blockbuster production value. It's a polished, tightly controlled experience that aims to tell one definitive, emotionally resonant story about two iconic heroes forced to work together against a global threat. If you're tired of massive, sprawling open worlds and just want a high-quality, perfectly paced, visually breathtaking superhero epic, this title is guaranteed to deliver an impactful and memorable playthrough that fully justifies the price. The return of Fable is one of the most anticipated events, and for good reason. It promises to recapture the whimsical, morally ambiguous, and highly personalized fantasy RPG experience the series is known for. Developed by Playground Games, the visual fidelity showcased so far is nothing short of breathtaking, painting a world of Albion that feels both familiar and brand new. The core value of Fable has always been the depth of player choice, not just in narrative, but in how your character physically evolves based on your deeds, making every playthrough a unique and highly personal journey. You know that moment when a simple decision snowballs into a massive, hilarious, or tragic consequence? That's the essence of this game. The gameplay is expected to blend satisfying hack-and-slash combat with deep RPG systems and that signature Fable sense of humor. The longevity comes from the sheer amount of side content, unique character interactions, and the incentive to replay the game to explore completely different moral paths. Will you become a heroic, shining paragon or a grotesque, feared villain? The developers have promised a massive living world where NPCs remember your past actions, creating a level of immersion and reactive storytelling that few open-world titles can match. This dynamic world structure transforms the game from a simple quest line into a true fantasy life simulation. Fable is an investment in charm, humor, and endless possibilities. It's for the player who values narrative choice and a world with genuine personality over grim seriousness. The unique blend of British wit, fairy tale fantasy, and deeply impactful moral choices ensures that this game offers more than just a typical fantasy adventure. It offers an entire quirky world to lose yourself in. If the world is as dynamic and reactive as promised, this will be one of the most rewarding and replayable RPG experiences on the PS5. In the crowded field of horror survival, Reanimal aims to carve out its niche by blending intense resource scarcity with a unique focus on dynamic creature behavior. Forget simple zombie hordes. The value here lies in the advanced AI and unpredictable nature of the mutated creatures, forcing players into continuous nerve-wracking tactical decisions. The scarcity of ammo and medical supplies is the core tension, requiring you to think through every encounter. Is it worth the risk to fight, or should you rely on stealth and precise, resource-conserving attacks? The premise is centered around a sprawling, dilapidated city center where environmental storytelling is key to your survival. Every looted building, every journal entry, and every piece of debris contributes to a slowly unfolding narrative of the global disaster. The cinematic quality, utilizing realistic lighting and environmental detail, creates a palpable sense of dread that is highly immersive on the PS5. And here's where it gets interesting. The developers have teased a procedural element to the world events, ensuring that even on subsequent playthroughs, the threat density and placement feel different, boosting the game's longevity. Reanimal is an investment in pure, high-stakes survival horror. It's for the player who measures value not just in hours but in heart-pounding moments of tension and strategic success. The deep crafting system and the need to constantly manage your inventory against relentless, intelligent enemies create a loop that is demanding but immensely satisfying when you barely scrape by. If you crave a horror game that forces genuine strategic thinking and provides a chilling atmosphere, this is one to budget for. When we talk about high-value action games, we often look for mechanical depth and visual flair, and Phantom Blade Zero appears to deliver both in spades. This high-speed, dark fantasy martial arts epic is defined by its kung fu punk aesthetic and its extremely fluid, stylish combat system. The game's real value lies in its focus on easy-to-learn, difficult-to-master mechanics, offering instant visual satisfaction while demanding precise timing and complex combos for true mastery. It's the kind of combat system that instantly justifies the price tag through its sheer adrenaline rush. The gameplay centers on massive boss fights and intricate level design, with a constant emphasis on environmental interaction and lightning-fast parries. The sheer volume of unique, cinematic techniques available to the protagonist's soul ensures that the combat never feels repetitive. Furthermore, the dark, gothic world inspired by traditional Chinese mythology offers a stunning visual backdrop that is distinct from typical fantasy settings, ensuring a unique and memorable adventure. It's a technical showcase that pushes the PS5 to deliver smooth, hyperkinetic action without missing a beat. Phantom Blade Zero is an investment in pure action spectacle. It's for the player who obsesses over perfecting their frame-perfect parries and mastering complex weapon forms. The short, sharp burst of intense action against terrifying foes provides a high degree of replayability, as players return to perfect their combat rankings and experiment with different skill builds. If you want a non-stop, visually stunning martial arts journey with a truly demanding and rewarding combat system, this is an essential addition to your library. Moving away from the sprawling open-world trend, 007. First Light is promising a return to the linear, tightly crafted, cinematic shooter experience that defines classic spy fiction. The value here is in the production quality, a focused, globe-trotting narrative with high-stakes set pieces, rendered with stunning PS5 fidelity. This isn't about collecting flags, it's about being immersed in a polished, highly paced action movie where you are James Bond. The use of gadgets, stealth mechanics, and precision gunplay is expected to be deeply integrated, making every mission feel unique and demanding. The core gameplay loop revolves around the spy action dynamic. One moment you might be utilizing stealth and sophisticated gadgets to infiltrate a secure facility, and the next you're engaging in a thrilling, high-speed chase or an intense gun battle. The developers are focusing on making every encounter feel earned and strategic, rewarding players for utilizing Bond's complete skill set rather than just relying on brute force. This strategic variety ensures that the game maintains its high-energy pace and replayability as you try to complete missions with maximum style and efficiency. 007 First Light is an investment in premium, single-player cinematic action. It's for the player who values a tight, focused, and unforgettable narrative experience over map size. The high-budget set pieces, combined with the iconic music and atmosphere of the James Bond universe, promise a short but impactful adventure that is fully worth the price of admission. If you want a game that delivers a perfectly paced, visually spectacular spy thriller, prepare to step into the perfectly tailored suit of 007. In the realm of dark fantasy action RPGs, Saros is positioning itself as a game that emphasizes player consequence and an almost overwhelming sense of environmental dread. The value proposition here is built around the game's unique ascension mechanic, which seems to offer permanent build-altering choices upon reaching key milestones. This creates massive replayability as players are incentivized to start over to explore wildly different, potentially broken or overpowered character builds. The gameplay is focused on methodical, challenging combat, demanding careful stamina management and enemy analysis, a hallmark of high-value, skill-based ARPGs. However, Saros injects its own distinct flavor with its oppressive, lore-heavy world design, which feels genuinely hostile and ancient. The dense, interwoven level design encourages exploration and rewards players who piece together the world's fragmented history. And here's where it gets interesting. The narrative is rumored to be non-linear and highly reactive to player failures, ensuring that death isn't just a setback but a meaningful narrative branch. Saros is an investment in challenging depth and rich world building. It's for the player who loves to dissect complex RPG systems and thrives in environments where danger lurks around every corner. The intense, demanding combat, combined with the permanent impact of the Ascension choices, guarantees a game you'll be returning to repeatedly, trying to uncover every secret and master every challenging boss. If you want a dense, rewarding, and brutally atmospheric dark fantasy experience, Saros is shaping up to be a compelling purchase. The original Code Vein successfully blended the challenging combat mechanics of Souls-likes with a distinct, hyper-stylized anime aesthetic and a strong focus on build flexibility. For Code Vein 2 to be worth the full investment, it must significantly expand the blood code system, ensuring that the unique class-changing mechanic offers even more dynamic and interwoven playstyles. The value here is centered on the depth of character customization and the sheer number of viable combat builds available, encouraging continuous experimentation with weapons, gifts, and blood codes. It's a game that respects your time by allowing you to easily shift your entire class on the fly. The signature feature of the series is its dark, post-apocalyptic world, inhabited by the Revenants, vampiric soldiers fighting against the Lost. The sequel is expected to push the narrative and visual presentation further, utilizing the PS5 to deliver stunningly detailed environments and fluid, high-octane combat animations that make every parry and special attack a true visual spectacle. The co-op functionality is also a massive value add, allowing players to tackle the punishing difficulty with a friend, which transforms the dynamic of exploration and boss strategies. Code Vein 2 is an investment in anime aesthetics meets mechanical depth. It's for the player who appreciates challenging combat, but wants a faster pace, a strong narrative focus, and an unparalleled level of character customization and fashion. If they deepen the gift system and introduce more unique enemy types that truly test the limits of your blood code combinations, this sequel promises a vast amount of time spent optimizing and mastering every demanding encounter. The return of Onimusha is a promise of high-stakes, samurai action horror, blending historical fiction with demonic fantasy. For Way of the Sword to be a necessary purchase, it needs to capture the atmospheric tension and satisfying visceral combat of the classic series while modernizing it for the PS5. The value here is intrinsic to the core loop, fast, focused sword combat that demands precise timing, parrying, and the strategic use of elemental magic. It's a pure skill-based action game set in a beautifully rendered, feudal Japan besieged by the demonic Genma. The hallmark of Onimusha has always been the Issen mechanic, the risky yet incredibly rewarding instant kill counter. Mastering this mechanic elevates the combat from simple hack and slash to a dance of death, demanding constant attention and nerve. The atmosphere is also a key selling point. The blending of highly detailed historical samurai armor and architecture with truly grotesque demonic designs creates a unique visual identity. The fixed or semi-fixed camera angles, if retained, would further enhance the classic survival horror tension, making every shadow a source of dread. Onimusha, Way of the Sword is an investment in refined, tightly controlled action that focuses on mechanical mastery. It's for the player who misses the focused single-player action games of the early 2000s, but wants them rendered with modern graphical power. If it delivers on the promise of satisfying demon slaying and deep, challenging combat mechanics, this game offers an impactful and continuously rewarding journey through a terrifying and legendary version of Japan. Insomniac Games set an impossible standard for superhero games, and Marvel's Wolverine is expected to follow suit, offering a tight M-rated action experience focused purely on the definitive mutant anti-hero. The core value proposition is the promise of visceral, brutal, and kinetic combat that truly captures the feeling of wielding adamantium claws. This isn't just a Spider-Man skin, it requires a complete overhaul of the combat system, focusing on rapid, close-quarters aggression, regeneration mechanics, and a flow state based on pure, unadulterated rage. The longevity of this game will be driven by its focused, character-driven narrative and the satisfaction derived from the combat loop. Wolverine's ability to heal allows for a distinctly aggressive playstyle, encouraging players to constantly push the offensive edge while managing environmental damage and overwhelming odds. Furthermore, exploring a world that honors the darker, grittier side of the X-Men universe provides a necessary contrast to the friendly neighborhood charm of Spider-Man, delivering a high-impact, mature experience that justifies the purchase. Marvel's Wolverine is an investment in a highly polished, character-perfect action game from a studio at the top of its form. It's for the player who wants a focused, hard-hitting adventure that delivers pure, unadulterated power fantasy. If Insomniac nails the sense of speed, the thwip of the claws, and the visual feedback of his regeneration, this will be the definitive Wolverine experience, a tight, cinematic, and immensely satisfying playthrough that rewards every minute spent slicing through enemies. So there you have it, 18 upcoming PS5 titles that are absolutely loaded with value, ambition, and sheer undeniable quality. Every single one of these games is aiming to be more than just entertainment. They are investments in technical spectacle, deep mechanical systems, and unforgettable narratives that promise to pay dividends in time spent. We've covered everything from punishing samurai epics to massive open-world crime sagas, all set to redefine what a full-price game should offer. Let me know in the comments which one of these future hits has you reaching for your wallet already, and which brutal, potentially illegal title did we miss for the next list. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and check out the video that's on your screen right now because the list of essential games never truly ends.